that her husband was in the service, and she married him, so they moved there. So she spent most of her life there.
It's just as a brochure about Taylor if you want to
Thank you.
take a look at that. Yeah, you're welcome. And it has some pictures in it
Oh,
as well.
that'd be lovely, yeah.
Oh wow, well that's that same picture you got, Mom.
Yeah, I know, that's what I said when I saw him laying there.
Oh. Yeah.
I'll just get these out.
Well,
in case
who had this
they're-
picture? You or Paul? Where they
Well,
go?
I had it for sure, I don't know if Paul did.
I'll just get those out.
Because one of them's supposed to be Grandpa,
Well,
right?
One is my dad, Grandpa.
Pardon me.
That's okay.
I wouldn't be able to pick it out because
No, well, I couldn't either, but he was pretty sure this was my dad.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 'cause he worked up there quite a few
Wow.
years, yeah.
Uh-huh. And when did you move in? Or when were you
Well,
born up there?
No, I was born in West Virginia,
Uh-huh.
and we came out here on the train. And his brother was already living here, and he was working there, and so that's why we came here. Yeah, 19. Oh gosh, let's see.
28, you were 2.
Yeah, 28. Yeah,
Okay, so you were born in 1926.
yeah.
And moved out here when you were 2 from West Virginia.
Yeah,
That's
evidently,
quite-
yeah, because I don't
quite a
remember
jump.
too much about it.
Uh-huh, yeah. And then when did you move out of Taylor?
Well, after the second grade, I started third grade in Hobart, and Paul started first grade there in 1930.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's Paul Bartholomew, I'm just saying for the record so that we
Yeah.
have it.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, we're all Bartholomew's. That was Mother's maiden name.
No, it was your dad's name.
Oh, yeah, that's right, because Mother was Guthrie.
Okay.
She was a Guthrie.
So when you moved to third grade down in Hobart, did you continue living up in Taylor?
No,
Okay.
no, we'd already lived in Hobart a couple of years.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. So as far as memories of Taylor go, it would be when you were quite young.
Yeah.
Sounds like.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was only in the end of the second grade when we moved, so,
Uh-huh.
but I did remember a fair amount
Did
about
you
it.
make some good friends in your childhood?
Well, I don't know, actually, well, in my notes, I went through your book, and so I wrote notes, and then I wrote, I made a message of what I wrote.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Super.
as I went through the book. But see, most of it didn't really refer to me because I was already gone after the second grade.
Right,
Mhm.
right. And 26, yeah, so, and then it was 20 years later that the whole town shut down, so.
19,
It spans so many decades that to know which segment of it's, was it during the heyday, but it was a little bit later than that.
yeah.
So it sounds like that could have been
Yeah, well,
your
that's what I
dad.
think Paul and I thought was Daddy,
Uh-huh.
my dad, our dad.
And what was your dad's name?
Claude Bartholomew.
Okay, I have this little family chart.
Okay. Because my mother was born in West
Right on
Virginia
the
too.
clipboard?
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Oh, thank you. That's great. Appreciate that. And you said your mom's last name was Guthrie.
Yes. Mhm.
What was her first name?
Desi, Dessie.
Oh, pretty. So, what did your mom do when you were a kid?
Oh,
Keep house and keep track of all you?
yeah, well, we lived in quite a few different houses, and let's see, and the last one that we lived in was just a few miles below Taylor, and I know there is what we had a cow, well, I remember having the cow in Hobart too, because she had a calf, and that calf we had a name, but I can't think of the name right now. But Mother Milk, though, yeah, I can remember quite a bit about Hobart too, because we moved there, and Mother had chickens, and she had a cow, and so she the one that milked the cow all the time. And I probably fed the chickens too. And Daddy bought his first car after we moved there. Yeah, I mean,
So,
it was an old one, but yeah.
So up in Taylor, there wasn't really a need for a car.
No, there wasn't, and that's why I liked it. That's what I say in my, what I wrote here, because you could walk everywhere, you know, which was really nice.
Yeah, that would. I get that completely.
Yeah.
And so you were part of the neighborhood that was. So the factory. I'm wondering if this might be a good way to.
You've probably got some nice pictures.
Well, there's a whole variety. It's amazing what's come through to us over the years. This is one that actually I saw posted at the Hobart market.
Oh, right.
And the big panorama. Have you seen this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so
Gosh.
there's
Yeah,
it
I've
was
never seen it
interesting
like
to
that.
compare the dates to see that this was before the church was built, so we know this was before 1914. That's one of those significant features. But this doesn't seem to show down here to where the housing neighborhood was.
Yeah, I can remember the rows and stuff.
All these rows of.
Well, yeah, there was rows. Yeah, where the people lived.
Oh, okay. And it was near a creek. A creek ran nearby.
It was what, trees?
A creek.
Oh, a creek. Well, the creek came alongside of the school, and then it came under the houses, I think, and then out down and away.
There's I don't know if it was a kid, maybe you didn't hear this euphemism, but it was known as Shit Creek.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, well, I didn't know it at that time.
Sure.
But yeah, because in my story I tell that I wet my pants, and so the teacher sent me home, and I said I had to cross the road, you know, where the cars would come up to Taylor, and then I crossed the bridge, which was over that creek. Yeah.
So they had a little bridge to cross over to the houses.
Yeah, and then that's then I went home, and then Mother took care of me, and then she sent me back to school the same day. Kind of embarrassing, but anyway.
I'm sure a lot of us have those wetting our pants memories.
Yeah.
They stick with us, don't they?
Yeah.
That was me in kindergarten. And then, what do you recall of what your dad did?
Well, he
you were
worked
off
there
school?
for quite a few years, and then I think after it closed up, we still lived below Taylor there, and he worked actually it was in the watershed, and they were putting fence, I think, around it.
Okay.
And he worked in that fencing business.
Oh, okay.
And then after that, he had a job at the school, working in the furnace room at Tahoma High School. But he didn't last there very long, because he would go in the building there when the kids would go like for recess, and he said they were just come down them steps and make so much noise, almost fall over him, and he called them wild Indians or something because they were so noisy.
Some things never change.
Yeah.
So that was not to his liking.
No, he thought, well, I mean, gosh, we were well behaved.
Yeah.
That's a picture, a real nice picture Lori has of my husband and Lori.
Oh.
And then we
so
had
cute.
that boat. We used to go up to Neo Bay and go fishing
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
How fun. Those
Mhm.
would be some good
Well,
memories too.
I was always afraid of the water, but Walt liked it because he learned to swim and that. But I was always kind of afraid, so I told JT I was happier when we were going home.
That's part of the fun of a trip, is the anticipation of just getting home.
Yeah, because I was scared. But, well, you either had to, in our boat, you know, it wasn't very big, and we'd go out there in the water fishing, and, you know, we caught a lot of fish, and I either had to hold the fishing pole or steer the boat, and so it wasn't very relaxing.
Oh yeah, either one. You're kind of on guard.
Yeah.
Do you recall the swimming pool at Taylor?
Well, I
at all?
do, but I don't remember if we went swimming there, but I can, well, in my story I tell that we could hear the, like if we would be down by where the school was, we could hear the older kids were up there because they would go swimming there, and then they would build a fire there. And so they'd be, I don't know if they were singing or just talking or what, but anyway, you could hear that they were up there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they went swimming there. It got real deep. If we swam there at all, I just remember wading in the end of it, but I didn't write anything about it because I never learned to swim really, so
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I wasn't too happy.
You weren't gonna be hanging out at the pool very
No.
much.
No.
Oh, it's kind of interesting going up there now. You can see the foundation for it.
Yeah.
It just makes me think of that devotion to family and
Oh.
all these dads probably out there making a pool for the community.
Yeah, because the end, you know, where the water went out, they built it all up real nice with a bunch of the conduit, you know, because the water was real deep there. And
Yeah.
that's where the water would go out underneath there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they made a spill there.
Yeah, it does seem like a really deep
Mm-hmm.
pool.
Yeah, it was deep there.
So it kind of created a dam to
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
always fresh water coming in.
I think
Yeah.
so. It must have been a pretty good spring that fed it.
Yeah.
Because I can remember it being nice and clean and everything.
And now it would be a fun spot for Jamie to go check out with all the amphibians. Now it's great habitat for salamanders and frogs, and it's all grown in. There's different
Yeah.
critters swimming up there now.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It's real different. Well, did you want to share some of your photos?
Yes, I'd like to. Well, this one is interesting that I kind of kept a folder, you know, with things that I wanted to keep.
Mm-hmm.
And so, well, I actually have this photo, and it's someone talked about Taylor. Well, I wrote this little note that I found this picture I had concerning Taylor. The title says, Historical Society speaks on the vanished town of Taylor. I thought you might like this copy.
Wonderful.
So this is a copy of part of Taylor.
Wow.
What I thought was maybe that this was the store, because up above the store was where they would have the Christmas program, and then this was the hotel. Yeah,
Side by
as far
side.
as I
Yeah,
remember.
I think we might have a photo that's either that or similar to that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
In fact, let me see what I have in here. That might be similar to that. There's the school. This was really
Yeah, they were kind of linked together, but there was a space, you know, about so wide where to get up there is where you walked, and I can remember if it would be raining, the rain would come down on you there. They didn't have very good downspouts at that time.
I'm guessing that maybe they added on to the school, and maybe this is an older photo.
Well, no, I don't believe. Well, just for the gymnasium, because I have a picture of out from the gymnasium.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because all my family was there as much as it was at that time.
Okay. I guess in this
Yeah,
batch, I don't have.
that picture of the church is a Catholic church, but we weren't Catholic, so we didn't go to that church.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Now Bartholomew, I'm trying to figure out the origins of that because English, okay. Because as I understand, there were a lot of Irish and Italian immigrants.
Yeah.
And English as well.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
so,
there were a lot of Italians. They called them, well, kind of a slang. Let's see, what did they call them? Well, I can't even
They
think
call them
now.
wops. They call them
Yeah,
wops.
they called them wops.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I'm
Without
sure they didn't
papers.
appreciate it, but you
Oh,
know.
without papers. Okay. Was there kind of a divide, a cultural divide?
Well, not really. They all just lived mostly in that last row, except on this side of, part of the row was houses this way coming down from Taylor, and then this last row here, there was like at least 4 rows, and first we lived in this first row, and just on the other side of that was some Italians lived there on the other side, and they had a big garden and stuff, I can remember. And the only way I remember the name of my teacher, which I say in my story, is because I kind of chummed around with the teacher's son, and his name was Billy Butler, and so I decided her name must have been Butler.
Mrs. Butler.
Mhm.
Yeah, that would make sense, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Well, we can look through these some more, but it sounds like you had some more pictures.
Yes.
And before,
But I made this one for you if you wanted to keep
thank
it.
you. Thank you for that
Yeah.
copy.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to show it to the camera so that we have a recollection of what we're even referring to.
Talking
And
about.
then I also want to make sure that it's still working.
Okay.
Is it still recording? Yes. Super. All
Let's
right.
see. You want me to start by showing the pictures
Yes,
that I
I love
have?
that. And then if you don't mind, I'll show them to the camera. Just so that-
Okay. Let's see. I don't know if I have them in order, but let's see. Well,
Sweet.
well, that's I didn't write on them. I think that's the first grade. I have the first grade, and this is
Aw.
the third grade. Well, whichever one looks the youngest there, I guess.
They kind of
Is
look
it-
the same to me.
Yeah, they do. I even got my hair the same. Well, my mother, she'd cut our hair, and she always cut it above our ear, we didn't
Easy
like it very much.
maintenance. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I really don't. I didn't write on them, so I really don't know, because this is actually in third grade. It was the beginning of third grade, so I considered it more the second grade.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, isn't that funny? They're so much the same.
Yeah, really. Here,
Well.
I'll just show them to the
Yeah,
camera.
okay. Oh, let's see, this one is different. Oh, I see, I made 2 copies. I made 2 copies, so
Okay.
I'll keep
Oh,
one of
this,
those.
This must be first grade.
Yeah, that looks like, I'll keep them separate, I
Okay.
guess, here.
Oh, that was really sweet that you made copies.
Yeah, and this one must be the third grade, but it actually, was through the second grade.
Same haircut.
Yeah, that's what Mother would always cut our hair, yeah. And she made our clothes too. She liked to sew. In fact, that's why she passed away, was because, well, I mean, it was at time anyway, but I mean, she, she sat and sewed by the hour. She made a bunch of quilts and stuff for kids in other countries and stuff like that, yeah. Well, in the church, she belonged to their, whatever they called it, circle, and she would make clothes for the people in other countries, little kids and stuff.
Oh, that's so
Yeah.
sweet.
Well,
And
this is,
did she attend church up at Taylor at all? Like there was a Methodist church as well as a Catholic?
well, we must have gone to church there, because I have the picture here.
Oh, okay. Well, I
Of
don't want to
us.
jump ahead of
Well,
where
that's
you're at.
okay, but I don't see it right now, but I must have it. Here it is. This is, well, it looks like it's more like it's in the front of the church. I thought it was the gymnasium, but the school looks like it's in front of the church, doesn't it?
It does,
Yeah, well, it must be. I always thought it was in the back.
And as I recall, the Methodist church was in the school building. While
must
the
have
Catholic
been.
church was its
Yeah,
own building.
Exactly. hmm
But
Yeah, well, I'll
making use
give you
the
one of these
school.
pictures, and I don't know if you want me to point out who
Oh,
It's our
sure.
family there.
Oh, that would be fantastic. I'll just have to figure out a way to identify it. I
Yeah.
might have to
No.
it is, that's something that,
Let's see.
I don't know what year that
I know what I'll do. I'll take a picture of it.
Okay, yeah.
And then, picture of a picture. And then maybe on the back, I could write down who is who.
Do you want like a little sticky thing or something, those little Post-its or anything, or?
Oh, if you
Yeah,
have one
post
handy,
it.
that's a good idea.
Might be easier.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
It's Dode and Paul and me and Ag. My older sister was 2 years older than me.
And where are you guys?
Well, this is Mother holding
Oh,
Dode.
thank you. Yeah, I'll do some arrows.
Okay.
And Dode, tell me about the name Dode.
Well, I don't know.
Dorothy is her
Yeah,
name.
her name is
Okay.
Dorothy,
So
but
let's
everybody
see.
called her Dode.
So there's Desi and Dode
Yeah.
holding Dode. Is that D-O-D-E?
I think so.
Yeah, that's right.
Dorothy.
Okay. And, well, I'll go by age then. This is Paul right here.
Are you kind of over in this area?
Mm-hmm.
Is that you?
No, that's Paul right there.
That's Paul.
Mhm, in the front.
Okay.
And I know some of the names, but I won't mention those because, you know, it could get too much, probably. Okay, then if you have to take that off of there to, this is me.
Oh, okay. So you're centered.
Probably from Paul, maybe you'd want to
That's a
count the
good
people.
idea.
Yeah.
6 over.
And this is my sister Agnes, right here, this one. She'd be 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 from Paul, I think. She's
Okay.
that one right there.
In the dark.
We all
coat.
kind of look alike, I think.
Uh-huh.
If you can see our faces
You're
very
right.
well.
You're right. Look at
And the
your
haircut's
eyes.
the same too.
Oh, I
Can't
love it.
miss that haircut.
It looks. I can really relate to a lot of this because my mom used to cut my hair and it looked an awful lot like that. Gotta
Well,
have the bangs.
yeah,
And okay, your sister is Agnes.
Agnes, yes.
And she's 1, 2, 3, 4 over from Paul.
Okay.
Paul's our reference point.
Yes, mhm, yeah. I said it looked like a cool day. We all kind of have coats on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hmm.
These look like the goofballs of the group.
Yeah. Yeah, I know quite a few, but that's okay. We better not mention those because it would get too confusing.
We'll
don't you
focus
think?
on your family.
Yeah,
So
just-
you had
mhm.
2 siblings? Oh no, 3.
Well, we were end up with 6.
Oh my!
Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, yeah,
So
it is nice to have
6
a big.
kids total.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll put that one down.
Okay, so this is in front of the schoolhouse. It's
Mhm.
the Methodist Church congregation.
I'll keep one and I'll give you one. This too.
Oh,
This is
sweet.
Taylor. They called that the dump because they put cinders there that, you know, from the plant they would have cinders because they, you know, heated it with the coal. And so they put the cinders
So that's
there.
the pile in the background.
Yeah. And this is the family, and it's my cousins are in it too. So this is Mother, and this is Paul in the rocking chair. And let's see.
So Paul is a baby.
Yeah, Paul was born in 28. That's the year we came out here. You see, well, maybe you should have a picture too to go by.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can't hardly see me, but I know that I had a little green hat. So that's me with the little green hat on
Aw.
right there, next, kind of behind Paul.
Uh-huh. It sounds like you remember that green hat.
Yeah,
Because it's
well,
not green here.
no.
That's really a sweet hat.
Well, Mother might have even made it. I don't know.
She sounds like quite the seamstress.
Yeah, she was. And then I'll name the rest of them too
Uh-huh.
here. Because this was my cousin Leon. Because this was Uncle Charlie's class, and that was Daddy's brother that was already out here.
Okay.
That talked him into moving here.
So that.
That's Charlie's son, Leon.
Oh, Leon. Okay.
Hmm.
And is this Agnes here?
Yes, that's her. She's got a fancy hat on too.
Yes, she does.
Well, Mother does too.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's all roughly. That's sweet.
They're all nice and different too.
They're all wearing hats.
They knew the Bartholomew family
Yeah, and this
by
is
the hats.
Yeah.
And was this another cousin?
Yes, that was Roxy, Leon's sister, Roxy, and she was my age.
Oh, okay.
And she was a blonde.
blonde
She had real
curls.
pretty blonde hair.
So having your cousins there, was that kind of like your built-in friends?
Well,
Did you-
yeah, they were, because I remember we didn't have a radio, when we lived in Hobart, but they did. So, in fact, in my story, I tell that we must have bought a wash machine when we lived in Taylor, because we had electricity there. But then when we moved to Hobart, we didn't have any electricity. So ask me why we moved there without electricity.
Yeah, you downgraded.
And so they took Mother's wash machine over to my Uncle Charlie's, and that's where she had to wash her clothes.
Oh, okay. And Uncle Charlie lived in Taylor.
No, he
No.
lived in Hobart,
Oh, okay.
but he worked in Taylor.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and he had a car because, he had to drive to Taylor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, similar to your brother,
Mm-hmm.
who he would drive up and work at Taylor.
Yeah,
Well, it's fascinating to see the pile of cinders in the
Mhm.
back,
yeah.
because that heap is still evident in
Yeah.
the landscape,
Mhm.
and it was
Wow.
way
When you
over.
go on the tour, you can't really see this.
Yeah, that was the slag heap, as we call it.
Oh, okay.
But it's so so they would take a little train cart, I believe, and dump it off the
Yeah,
end.
yeah, that was probably it there, that end, huh? Don't you
Yeah,
think? Yeah,
yeah.
I think so.
And right now
Because
there's
this
some,
looks like the road coming down, isn't it, from Taylor? That would be the right area, the right place for it.
okay. Yeah, I have a hard time placing. I know there was a road that went right through the center of town between the factory buildings and the kilns.
Mm-hmm.
But beyond that end of the road, I'm not really sure where things
Yeah.
went.
Yeah.
And then in this older photo, I'm not sure if it shows it kind of shows the beginnings of the slag heap.
Okay,
But
yeah.
by this time, it had grown a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
So and there is, to this day, there's a big open lawn
Yes,
right in
yeah.
front of it, and it
Mhm.
looks like it was the same
Yeah,
pace
well,
then.
I tell that that was in the center of town. There was a monkey tree there, and the monkey tree is still there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remembered that.
You remember the monkey tree?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Because it was a pretty big area that was between, the store and the hotel, and then the swimming pool and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was kind of the main gathering area, or
Well, they didn't really do anything there because they played ball down below the school. There was a ballpark they made, yeah.
mm-hmm. Did you go to games there?
Well, I don't think we went, but we knew it was there. I guess we could just hear them,
Uh-huh.
as far as I know.
Kind of like the swimming pool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I imagine you could hear everything that was going on in that town with the houses close together.
start.
Here, look at it with this one. You can really pull the faces in.
Yeah, I think it's working. I don't know why it made that sound.
Maybe just didn't press on me.
I don't know what your grandpa looked like. You have pictures of him?
Well, I think this is two different pictures, actually. That
I
have.
just remember him being old, so I don't know what he looked like when he was young.
You don't have any pictures of him when he was young?
I don't, no.
Oh, you're looking at the photo of all the workers?
Yes, well, see, I think I have two different pictures, actually. To me, this one looks different than that one,
Mm-hmm.
and so I've taken pictures of both of them.
Yeah, this one is the same on the brochure. Is that right?
Well,
Yeah, it's the same, Mom.
Well, she's
Just-
got two different ones.
well, it's this one, yeah. Well, this one's a little bit bigger, I think. You know.
Yeah,
Mhm,
more
so-
workers.
Yeah, so you can take one of each of those
Oh,
if you
thank
like.
you.
Made copies.
Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you so much. And so it sounds like your dad worked at the high school and he had another job off-site when you were living in Taylor.
No, we were already living in Maple Valley at that time.
Okay.
Yeah, because
And-
Taylor closed out.
Oh, true.
Do you know the year that it closed out?
1947.
Yeah.
But
mhm,
you'd left
mhm.
by like 19. I'm
Yeah,
trying to
quite a
think
few
if you
years
were-
before that.
Yeah, if you were in third, fourth grade. Do you know what he did at the factory when?
Well,
he
yes,
worked
I
up there?
kind of write about it because he used I think they call these things trucks. I think that's what this is, because they would, you know, at the plant, the main part of the building was where they had the fire going, and up above was where they would set the pipe. You know, they would make the pipe, because like I said, that one picture over there is like underneath where they made the pipes.
Oh, right, the press.
The press, yes.
Mhm.
mhm.
Get them into their
Well,
forms.
I think that's maybe where Mother worked, but anyway, yeah, they had that great big area where they would set the pipe until they would firm up, I guess, and then they would cart them to the kiln. And I think this is the carts that they used. They call them a car.
Okay.
Yeah, they would fill this car up with those pipe, and then they would set it in the kiln, and then they would raise that to a real high temperature, and that cooked the pipe, you know.
Mhm.
So.
It sounds like your dad was involved in all of those different
Yeah,
components.
he that's what he did. He took the pipe from the floor up above and brought the pipe down to the kiln.
Okay.
Yeah, that was his job.
Neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can remember hearing people talking about the big area where they'd be out to drying on the drying
Mhm,
racks
yeah.
of all the different sizes,
Yeah.
and then
mhm.
how they take them over to the kilns.
So I don't think there was more than one of those kilns. Yeah.
Yeah, from this aerial, it's hard for me to really tell. Here are the domes of the kilns over here,
Oh.
and I think maybe this was a drying area. And then here would be the neighborhood,
Okay.
and maybe the ball field.
Well, I guess
this-
I guess that could be. The houses were kind of, well, there was a lot of different rows, but there weren't houses in most of the rows.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was just mostly in that back row.
Oh,
Was
okay.
in the side one that came, you know, on the other side of the road that came down.
Okay.
That's where most of them were.
And then the other rows without, here's some outlines of where the houses were.
Where the houses were.
And I wonder if they filled up more of the houses in the rows as the population grew?
Well, the way, when we were there, I don't know what they did before that, but when we were there was just mostly the last row here was the houses, and then the one that was alongside of the road, you know, that run this way. The houses were built this way, but and the road ran this way.
Okay.
And then this last row coming down, you know, was like this direction.
So kind of perpendicular to
Yeah.
the road that was coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Yeah, it's over the years. I think it changed
Yeah.
quite a bit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I don't know the year of this map, but let's see. It sounds like you're familiar seeing all the stacks of pipe.
Let's see now.
This was years after you were there. That was in 1940.
Yeah. Yeah, well, this was a road that came up, and then behind the kiln was way up on the hill there was this maybe is it here, there was a shop, and I think they made things there that, you know, or had to do with the plant. It was a shop because, like, if they'd be on strike years later, my dad would they'd have to go around. They had a box to punch because they went all through the kiln, you know, when nobody was there working. And he got in on that, and he used to talk us kids to go with him because it would be an evening job. And I can remember going with him, and you know, we would start at like the office, and then that would have been, the office was, I think, in front of the hotel here. Yeah, the office. Mm-hmm.
Okay, maybe over in this. I'm not sure if this was the office or not.
Oh, let's see.
So you said that while they were on strike,
Yeah.
he would take you kids to the kilns to punch a card?
No,
Or-
when they were on strike, well, they probably took turns doing this, but anyway, they had boxes on all different parts of the kiln, of the whole plant, and somebody that was, would be their job, they would go all through the plant, and they would, well, my brother had one of them boxes. They would have to punch that box to show that they'd checked that part of the area, you know, that area of the plant.
Okay, because
Yeah.
nobody else was monitoring or being
Yeah.
on site.
They would have,
Okay.
you know, just one person go do that every night, I guess, you know,
Okay.
while they would be on strike. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Daddy didn't like going by himself, so he talked one of us kids to go with him. I remember going with him at least once, yeah.
Uh-huh. That would have been an interesting experience with the quiet of the
Yeah.
factory. Everything is shut down.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm trying to remember that must have been the second strike, and after that they closed down.
Yeah, I
the
guess so.
mines.
Let's see, this looks like you can see the houses
Yeah,
there, can't
here's
you?
some houses. Here, I'm just going to show
Yeah.
the pictures. So this was when she was telling about the strikes and checking the boxes, and this one before it.
Well, I can't quite figure out. I mean, it looks like the houses here, but it looks like they're awful close, but
Uh-huh. From your kids' perspective, they were not that close
yeah.
together.
Mm-hmm.
And then
What are
this,
these buildings here? Do you know?
I
Or not?
think this might be the school.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah,
here would
that
be the
could
road.
Yeah, okay. Because there would be a bridge then across over to the houses there.
Okay.
Yeah. And you can't. The bridge was probably gone at that time, and
It shows the bridge
just
on
looks
here.
like it could be kind of the coal sheds that was up in the front of the house. What's
It
that
shows the
now?
bridge on here,
Oh, okay.
down here on the creek.
Oh. Well, let's see the picture.
And I wonder if, oh yeah, there's that bridge right across. from the school. It could be that it's out of sight or blocked
Yeah,
by
yeah, I would think so.
some of the
Mhm.
houses.
Yeah.
And would you say this looks like there's more of a housing development here than when you lived there?
Well, I can remember that there was like 4 rows, but there probably was, one more than that because there was a road between where the first house that I remember was over here, and then the road went this way, because coming down from the plant was this way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that was the grandparents of one of the families there that lived on the other side.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
On the
They-
other side of the
The other
road.
side of the road, yeah.
Okay.
Because
Because there are some like bigger houses that.
well,
We
those were
call
up
them-
above.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those were up above.
And we don't have any photos of those.
No, but just that
Unfortunately.
one, you kind of look like, let's see, I'll put his picture there. Let's see, which I don't know, I thought I had one that kind of looked like, no, you can't, this is just the plant here. Did you want this picture too?
Sure.
Because that looks like yours is different, yours is like this one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see, they're a little bit different.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
they're sitting on the car here.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
And they're sitting on the car there, yeah. And this shows more of them, more of the workers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. They're all sitting on top of that
Yeah.
9-hole conduit,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and they made all that by hand. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they used kind of, used equipment, to make it. But yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because I think they even had to bring the clay in, I think, years later, before they used to find it there somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
The coal and the clay, I think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thank
Yeah,
you for
because
that.
the houses were a lot bigger that were up above too. Because
Mhm.
one of them got moved down by the Tahoma High School.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
wow.
one family bought one and moved it there.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's one of the real nice big ones.
Is it still there? Down
Yeah, it's still
near
there.
the high school, you say?
I think it's still there.
Wow. That'll be neat to check out.
Yeah. Mhm.
It's really
Yeah.
I love seeing how Taylor has spread out throughout the area in different bits and
It's the
pieces.
old
Mhm.
Tahoma High School where she graduated from, though, on 216th.
That's now the
Tahoma
historical.
Elementary.
Oh, it's an
It's
elementary.
Tahoma
now.
Elementary
Oh,
now.
okay.
Yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm.
That'd be neat to check out.
But it's still called Tahoma. It's the
Okay.
only one still called Tahoma.
This is the first year it's been in elementary. There was
Yeah, it was
last-
middle school.
Yeah.
It was
Oh,
Tahoma
okay.
Middle School, but I graduated from it as Tahoma High School too.
Oh, okay. Neat. I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, it's on 216th.
Okay. And I bet it's pretty obvious which house.
It's a big brick building.
Yeah, it's right. If you go up here to the, let's see. Yeah,
We're
if
on
you go up here to
208.
the light and hang a right,
Uh-huh.
the flashing light,
Mhm.
and go down. It's down
About
on.
2 miles.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, I think I've seen it.
Yeah.
And so there's a big manager's house near there that was moved from Taylor.
Yeah, kind of across the street and then this way. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It would be worth checking out.
Or actually, if you go down this road too, you get to the stop sign and turn left, you'll run right into it at
Oh.
the next flashing light.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the old Tahoma High School.
Okay. That's great.
Well, I wonder too, if, did you ever meet up with Clarice Mazzini? Well, she was a Martin here, but she lived there, and she lived there until they moved out, or pretty much until they moved out.
Oh.
Clarice Mazzini, yeah.
It's not
Was her
ringing a
name-
bell, but she sounds like
Oh.
a good source.
Yeah, she was 2 years older than me. She was
Mhm.
my mother's age, and
Your
she
sister's
lived there
age.
until they
Your
moved out
sister's
almost.
age.
Huh?
Your sister's age.
Yeah,
And so they stayed on in Taylor quite a bit longer.
yeah.
Sounds like-
mhm. Yeah, some of them did stay that long.
Do you have her contact information?
Well, right here, yeah. I was
Oh,
gonna
yeah,
give you
there's your
this
phone
note.
number.
If
Okay.
She married a Martin,
Thank you.
and so my oldest daughter, she knew the Martins, and so that's how she got this phone number.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Janie's
So-
mom. Janie's mom.
Oh, okay.
I
Okay.
can just give you this if you want it, because I don't think I need it.
Okay.
But
Thank
well,
you.
I mean, Joy's probably still got it.
Okay. If you,
But
if
she'd
you
be interesting to interview her because she lived there so much longer than I did.
Yeah. Maybe could fill in what happened after the 20s. I'm
Yeah.
just gonna put it in my
Mhm.
pocket so I don't forget it. Oh, and look, you wrote a story.
Yeah, this
That's
is a story because
amazing.
I went through your book,
Uh-huh.
and so I sort of answered the questions as far as I could go, because after I was beyond second grade, then I wasn't there, so I couldn't answer any of the questions that was in regard to that.
Yeah, we made the questions very general because it might apply to people who live there at different times
Yes,
or
that's-
different ages. So,
That's true, yeah.
well, I appreciate the time that you took
Yeah.
to.
Well, I thought I would just read this if you
Wonderful.
want me to.
That would be
But
so great.
I wrote, quite a few pages.
Yes, this is exactly what we treasure. Getting to know
So
more about.
when you get around
this
to
place.
it, I can just start reading it, I guess.
Yeah.
I
This
hope
is
my
great.
my voice is kind of, maybe Lori should read it. She's got
No,
a
you
nicer
go ahead.
voice.
No, you go ahead and read it.
It's your voice for your words, so
Yeah.
it's wonderful. It's perfect.
Okay, well, I don't know, do you have to reset your,
I can double check that it's still recording.
Okay.
My
and
mystery
I
device.
wanted to give you this book back when,
Oh, okay. It sounds
Yeah.
like you wrote your notes in
Yeah.
here or separate.
I didn't write in the book at all. I just
Oh,
wrote
okay.
this that I have.
Looks good. I see a red dot. That's gotta be a
Okay,
good
well, I
sign.
guess I can just start reading if you want.
Yeah, that would be super.
Okay. My family history in Taylor is, we were my dad, mother, older sister Agnes, me, Paul. Dorothy, my younger sister, was born in Taylor. Paul was the baby, born in 1928. When we came on the train from Brandonville, West Virginia, which is where I was born, I attended elementary school in Taylor, first grade and second grade. My teacher was Mrs. Butler. I do not remember any games we played. I liked my teacher as it was her son who I chummed around with at that time. I am pretty sure it was the first grade that I was too bashful to ask for permission to go to the bathroom, so I wet my pants. The teacher noticed me. She sent me home. This was crossing the road, then a bridge, which crossed a creek, then on home. My mother changed me, then sent me back to school.
They couldn't do that these days, send you walking home.
Oh no.
In the middle of the day.
Unsupervised,
In the
yeah.
middle of the day.
My sister Agnes, 2 years older, attended the same school with a man teacher, believe his name Mr. Stiles. I do not believe there were earlier schools there. Mrs. Butler was my teacher. I did not attend extracurricular activities, as do not remember there being any. I did not spend time there as a teenager. I believe my family all sat down together for meals. I do believe I had special toy while there. It was kind of like a long, slim piece of wood. It had metal wheels on each side. They made a ringing noise when pulled with a string. Living in a company town, I believe it an advantage as we got around to places we wanted to go by walking. My friend, the teacher's son, Billy Butler, he and I mostly just walked around the town, not having any special place in mind. To get away from Taylor, which we did very seldom, I think it was my dad's brother, Uncle Charlie, who drove us, as they had a car, to get back and forth from Taylor. We did not live in Taylor in 1947. Taylor had a swimming pool, What I remember about the pool is the older kids swam there as they would build a fire there later. It seemed like we were aware of the baseball field with men playing ball there, but do not remember going there. I remember going to the upstairs of the store. It was a large room where we went at Christmas. We were given a sock with an orange and candy, also a gift which I believe the company paid for, some of the women buying the gifts. There was music later, some of the people dancing. I think they brought their children when they got tired. Mothers laid their child on the chairs nearby, and they slept. We went to the church at the gymnasium. I have a picture taken outside with people. Some I remember and others do not know. In this picture is my older sister Agnes, my brother Paul, me, and my mother holding my younger sister Dorothy. I see the year is 1930. I would have been about 5 years old. I must have been a school day as we all have coats. Another picture I have, well, I don't think it was 1930 was the year that Paul started school in Hobart, so I'm not sure if I have that year right.
Okay.
Well, anyway, must have been a cold day as we all have coats on. Another picture I have is at what they call the dump. It is where they dump the cinders from coal burned at the plant. The date is 1928. I recognize my cousin Leon on the left, my older sister Agnes next, then mother next with a hat on. In front of mother is me with a large green hat on. The baby Paul is in the rocking chair. On the right is my cousin Roxy, taken in 1928. Another picture I have is taken of the brick plant workers in 1928 in front of some of the tile with the plant in the back. Pretty sure my dad in a picture, because first I wrote I didn't think he was in it, but my brother said he thought he picked out the one that was Daddy.
And that was this photo here.
Yeah, that photo, yeah.
Yeah, which is also here.
See, this fellow here, he was kind of his chum right here, Mr. Carpenter, and so they were kind of chums because I think he rode with Mr. Carpenter sometimes up
okay.
there. So that's why Paul thought that was Daddy. I don't know, I can't really say it. It looks like him there, but he used to wear kind of a rubber sheet because, you know, lifting those pipes and stuff would be pretty hard on your clothes.
Uh-huh.
So they would wear a rubber sheet to protect their clothes,
so
I
that's
guess.
what he's wearing there as well.
Yeah.
And then you say his chum is sitting in front of him.
What now?
His chum,
Chum,
is
yes,
sitting in
yes.
front of him, Mr. Carpenter.
Yes,
Okay. It looks like his feet don't even reach the ground there. They're dangling.
Let's see now, where did I leave off? My dad in the back. I do not remember anything about how we spent time on Sunday. I do remember one celebration we attended. I think someone got married, but do not know who. When the couple came out of a building, we were all prepared to let them know we were there with some kind of a noisemaker, which we tried to make a lot of noise. After that, I guess we just went home. That was when we lived in Taylor. The baseball field was on the same side of the road as the school, but much further below. It was across the road and further down from the last row of houses. I do not think we ever went there. Another incident I remember, we bought some shoes from the store for Agnes and me, the kind that came up over our ankles, more like the kind that boys wore. Mine were brown colored, but Agnes's were red colored. Agnes hated those shoes for the color.
Sounds
She used to
brilliant. Red shoes.
Yeah. I do not remember buying groceries there. Maybe Uncle Charlie took my folks for such. I am pretty sure my mom decided she needed a wash machine. Later, when we moved to Hobart, my mother did her washing at my Uncle Charlie's place as they had electricity, which we did not have in Hobart. At Taylor, we had running water. There was running water in the house where I believe would be the pantry. Also outside a faucet over one of those very large pipes made in Taylor. I would guess about 2 feet across. I presume the water drained under the house. I do not know if they had pipe there to drain it away. I am sure we drank this water. I think most of the Taylor people worked at the factory. I know my dad worked there, also my Uncle Charlie, though he lived in Hobart. I do remember they had a real nice porch in back of their house, pretty much all material made from Taylor, more like a deck, not enclosed. I also remember when Daddy lived in Taylor, all of us, he said, when he walked up to the plant, he saw a cougar on one of his trips. Years later, he mentioned that his job at the Taylor was he used one of their vehicles called a truck, with this loaded with pipe from the upper floor where the pipe were on this heated floor to where the kiln was, a large round building. This was made pretty hot for finishing the pipe. I also have a picture of some of the plant workers standing and sitting in front of the plant. The pipe finished were stacked before being loaded on the train or trucks. Yes, some women, about 6 or so, did work at Taylor during the World War II. My mother was one of those workers. I did see seem to me it wasn't too long after that was when the plant was bought. The whole town of Taylor, year 1947. Not sure how many people who worked there lived elsewhere besides my dad's brother. The town of Carriston was fairly close by. To the left and much lower property, a shingle mill. Years later, a tour was made up with buses carrying people up to what I would call the center of the town, a grassy area where a monkey tree still remains. The spot is to the left of where the train traveled, also above where most of the homes were. The factory was to the right. Across from this is where the swimming pool was located. All this above the school. I remember our yards were surrounded with fences, as it seemed like my mother would only let certain people in our yard. Years later, she said, children who started trouble were not allowed in our yard. We must have burned coal there, as there was a coal building was located in our yard. A wood sidewalk ran from the road to our house. I guess I loved that sidewalk, as I spent much time running down that sidewalk. My mother did not like this, thus I got many spankings, but I did not seem to quit this activity. We bought milk from some people named Arcos. They lived down the hill from where we lived. Their home was near the road that went to Carriston. Me and others of my family would walk there. They must have had some cows. We bought milk there. Close by the train tracks was a wooden turntable, not very far from what we called the High Bridge. Oh, I guess that's the end of my story. And then I made a list of all the names of the people that lived there that I could think of.
Wow, great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do recognize some of these names,
Okay.
like the Milettas and the Sandhigh. We
Yeah.
have some
Had the post
photos.
office.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're the ones that bought that house and moved it down
Oh,
pretty close to what was the high school then.
okay.
Yeah, it was Sandys, but I think they're pretty much gone, but I think one of the wives of the Sandi boy,
There. Yeah, and I still have half of that.
well, maybe if you want to hold it up with the names, would that help or not?
Well, if we can make a copy
Yeah,
of
just
this.
make a copy, that would be
Yeah.
fine, yeah.
But I want to make sure, is it okay to take it with me?
Yeah.
And then mail it back to you?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, because this is valuable stuff. This is
Well,
great.
you can have this whole copy if you want.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'll just give you the whole thing, because I've got another copy of it. I rewrote it, to make a little nicer
Oh.
printing.
Oh, you have
So,
2 copies of it?
yeah, I do have
Oh,
another
okay.
copy.
Well, then I could just take a photo of that so that.
Yeah, to
since
send
I thought
back.
maybe it was the whole thing.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, those are some great
So,
memories.
I
I
was
love the stories of like early school memories and that you went out and did stuff with your dad up at the factory.
Yeah.
And
Let's see, it seemed like there was something else I was gonna maybe mention about later, but I don't know if I can think of it right now.
yeah, that's a wonderful story.
Well, I might have already told you that I can remember going up there in the plant with him when we lived just a few miles below Taylor.
And so he continued to work up there.
Well,
after-
yeah, yeah,
after
he
you
did for
moved.
quite a while.
Okay. Do you happen to know why your family moved from Taylor to Hobart?
No, I don't know why, because like I say, well, I think it's because the house was probably free rent or something, because it was in part of the family that owned that house we moved into, that place.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's why, but I mean, nowadays, I don't think you'd do that. Go where there's no electricity, because we used to have to, the road that went to the house, well, then we'd have to come back on that road and stop at one of the guys' house to get our water. We'd, have to get our water in like a 10-gallon milk can to have water for our place there.
Oh, wow, so no electricity and no plumbing.
Yeah,
anymore.
exactly. Yeah, we had outside toilets, because I can remember that Mabel was the youngest. Well, there's David's younger than her now, but she was the youngest at that time, and she would head for the toilet, and then she couldn't make it, so she'd start crying because she knew she'd get spanked, and so she'd call me, and I'd go rescue her.
Oh.
Yeah, I guess I liked her real well.
Oh,
I
that's
knew
sweet.
I didn't want her to get spanked.
Yeah, right. Save
Yeah.
her. Oh, that's really sweet.
Well, yeah, I have some other photos if you wanted to look through them just because I have them.
Yes, I would like to.
And then also, these were some oral histories left by Mary Sandi.
Oh, okay.
And,
Yeah, I remember the Sandys.
okay.
Mhm.
Well, I think Mom Sandai's that house you were saying, isn't it?
Yes, I
Isn't that
mentioned
old
that.
house from Taylor, the
Mhm.
Sandai's deal,
Okay, so like
up on 216.
grandchildren at this point, or?
Well, it's the guy, one of the Sandys' wife, I think, still lives there.
Okay.
I don't know
okay.
about the grandchildren, yeah.
Okay. So these were some of her memories.
Notes?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's no
Yeah.
cemetery in Taylor. And they'd go into Renton on Saturday afternoons.
Okay.
So yeah, it's just kind of neat to see. There's a whole variety of memories, and then these were some photos
Okay.
from when they came to visit, I guess. So I don't know if any of these.
Well, this looks like Mrs. Sandi.
Oh, okay.
Have you met Mrs. Sandi? Well, she's
No.
probably, maybe she's gone by now.
Is that
probably.
Mary?
What now?
Mary Sandi? maybe?
I guess that was her name. I don't think we knew her name, and this must
Okay.
be her son, so then I don't know who these other people are. But
Okay.
that looks like Mrs. Sandi and her son there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe even her daughter.
Well,
Who knows?
yeah, I didn't know. I think she had twin girls.
Oh.
Yeah, because
okay.
I think one of them died out in one of the lakes or something.
Oh.
I don't remember too much about it, but it seemed like it was kind of a mystery that, they didn't know why she
Oh.
fell off the boat or whatever
Uh-huh.
happened to her, because it seemed like that was the end of one of them.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate. Yeah, this must have been from a tour that they took up to the
Okay.
watershed at once upon a
Mhm.
time. So, as you saw when you went on a tour, the
Mhm.
Press Foundation.
Yeah, that looks familiar.
Mm-hmm. Putting the pieces of the puzzle together.
Oh. Yeah, that's another one.
Yeah. But yeah, this is pretty much still how it looks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've
Just,
been
the
on
trees are
those
just a little bigger.
tours quite a few years, but then I haven't been up there lately now.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's pretty much unchanged
Yeah.
since
Mhm.
they bulldozed it in 1947.
Yeah. Yeah, the house,
so
they
there's
took all the
not-
houses out of there and
Not much remaining.
what now?
Not much remaining.
No,
It would have been neat to be able to see some of those houses that the people lived
Yeah.
in,
Mhm.
including yourself. Yeah. So, let me see if there's any other photos that might be of interest. We looked at the school,
Yeah.
and there was that store that you were talking about.
Yes. Well, actually, this is a hotel, I think. Well, I don't know, because see, the store was right beside it, but
Right, and
This-
this more looks like that building at the,
well, let's see.
that was
Huh.
like,
Well, I don't know, that's kind
Perpendicular
of
to it.
confusing because to me, the hotel and the store were right together with just that little little sidewalk that went between them.
yeah, yeah. So this would be that building,
Oh,
which maybe it's more the office.
yeah, that does look like, well, I don't know, maybe the office ever did go there, but one time it was right underneath here, I think, in part underneath the hotel, because this looks like the store now, and this looks like the hotel to me.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I would say, I'm not sure.
Well, and
Yeah.
I could see how once the structure is built, maybe the use of it changed
Mhm,
over the
yes,
years.
Yes.
We're just examining that picture right there. Do you remember at that time, did your mom have to wear a corset?
Yeah, I think she did, yeah, because she was pretty husky, yeah. Daddy was
That would
always
be the
tall
only
and
reason.
slim, yeah. Yeah, she did, I
She
remember
did.
that now.
It's part of her daily routine. And these were the miners, so there's quite a
Oh.
distinction, I believe, from the mining crew and then
Yeah,
the
I would
factory
think so.
workers.
Yeah, but see here, it kinda looks like, well, it's hard to tell.
Oh, like
You can't
they're
really see that there's a
in the-
sidewalk between there.
Yeah, it does look like they're in front of this building here.
Yeah, it does,
Once upon a time.
Yeah, but, well, the office could have moved very well because, I just remember it, when I was so young.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, here would be a look at all the houses
Oh,
lined
yeah,
up
well,
as
that's
well.
kind of that's a pretty nice picture there, let's see.
to
Yeah,
see.
'cause see, that's the way I remember them in houses that, like in rows. See, like this was the row,
Mhm.
and this was the ones that were facing the other way.
Oh, so like these two rows faced each other, and then this faced it, the
Yeah,
street
these
direction.
these faced each other. The one that was right here. There weren't very many houses here, and mostly I think the Downs lived in one of those houses that was, like this would have been. Those older folks lived here, and then Downs lived there, and then this one could have been empty.
Okay.
As far as I remember, and then these were, like I say, like facing that way, this way, and then
Uh-huh.
these others were all facing that way toward the school, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, these definitely look like smaller houses.
Yeah,
And,
oh yeah, the ones that were up behind, you know, that were, before you got to the factory, up on the back of the hill there, they were big homes, yeah, and that was the one of those was the ones that got moved.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a
Okay.
big house, yeah.
It was interesting, it was a few years ago when I went to visit up near the manager's homes,
Oh.
those bigger homes, you know, no sign of the
Mhm.
homes, but curling up the trees were just these huge stems of wisteria that had grown up for the last 100 years. And looking up, it's in a maple tree, but it's just dripping with wisteria blossoms.
Yeah,
And it's probably not good for the tree, but it definitely tells the story of some landscaping that was once there
yeah,
and was let go. If you don't keep track of your wisteria, it will take over.
yeah.
But it's a pretty thing to take over. Well, yeah, I guess we've looked at a lot of these. This was the more of the
Yeah.
mining end
Yeah,
of things.
these are more like, these are like, yeah, up on the hill there, yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll just describe or just show this photo.
Okay,
This is when
yeah.
she was talking about the housing, and that the houses over here, that's those were the smaller houses kind of set apart from the other rows. And I guess that's just another view,
Okay.
getting to see more of the houses. So that must have been, I think you said the Downings
Mm-hmm,
that were in those
yeah. Just
closer to the
Downs is the
factory.
name, Downs.
Downs. Okay.
Mhm.
Well, boy, you just lived right amongst the product there. It wasn't
Yeah,
far away. It was like the
no.
landscaping was
Mhm.
pipe.
Yeah, it was, mhm.
What a neat place to grow up, even for a couple of years, to have some memories
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah, I remember quite a bit about it.
Yeah, yeah. Wow, those are some great stories. Was there anything else that you felt like sharing?
Well, I don't think so. I think I talked long enough.
Well, your story is fantastic. Oh yeah, and I was going to take a picture of that. Oh, look at your hummingbird. How sweet. Yeah, I'll take a picture of this list of families. So that I can get that back to you. How often do you see Paul?
Oh, well, our church, I quit going to the church because of the bathroom problem, but our church used to have Monday night dinner. Well, they still do, but we just decided we wouldn't go lately because they kind of were coming downhill with their menus, you know. But Paul's wife would work there, you know. She would come about 3 o'clock and help, you know, help fix the food because some of the ladies would be there all day that day. It was a Monday. And then they would have the dinner at, 5 o'clock, didn't it start? And we went there and would have our dinner there. And well, of course, Thelma would, you know, other people would help, you know, serving and stuff. And it ended up that some of the school kids would come and serve,
Oh.
which was real nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really good involvement.
Mm-hmm.
You'd see Paul there, so you'd see him
Oh,
once a week.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
She
so
sees
Paul
Paul
would,
about once a week.
when he brought Thelma at 3 o'clock, then he'd come and visit with me until about 5 o'clock, and then he'd go down to the church, and then he would take a nap in one of the beds there. But, you know, I think one of the rooms where they had the little kids or something, they must have had a bed or something. And he would rest a while, and then he would, I don't know, towards 6 o'clock, Thelma would quit working, and somebody else would take her place, and so then Paul and her would have their dinner. And
Nice.
so that's kind of when we would plan on going there.
Uh-huh. Well, next time you see him, tell him hello.
Okay. Have you met him?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, that's nice.
Yeah, I think early on when I started to work up there, he he contacted us, I think,
Oh.
and looked into getting to go visit with Louie. Wanted to bring his friend Louie up there.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, it was really nice to visit him, and he
Yeah,
just
well, I
has a
told
really gregarious personality.
Yeah, I told him he should write a story because, he, must remember some of it, he said. Because I had him read my story and he said it all sounded familiar.
Oh, good. I think he did write up a letter of some sort,
Did he?
and
Yeah.
I'll make a copy and send it to you.
Yeah, that'd be
So
nice.
It might jog his memory too,
Mm-hmm.
because that was probably 10 or 12 years ago.
Oh, really?
that he
Yeah.
came
Yeah,
out there.
I think his friend has passed away since then.
Oh,
I think,
Louie?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh,
I think
okay.
he's passed away.
Okay. Yeah, as I recall, he wasn't in as good health
Yeah.
as Paul, but he was able
Well.
to share his stories and some photos as well
Oh,
back
hmm.
then.
I
So,
see.
Yeah.
That was nice.
Was that who was in the picture with him? That's Louis?
No, no,
That
because
was,
Louis' the son, like, his dad would have worked there, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember what he did, but yeah,
No,
he
I
lived
don't.
up there. Well, Paul would come and visit. And there's some neat photos of them with a fawn. They came across a little deer, and they're
Oh.
posing with it.
Hmm.
And then after the watershed closed, when they were older, they would sneak in and
Yeah.
bring
I
their
think he
fishing
talked-
pole.
Yeah.
He talked about that fawn when we went on that tour that day. She might like to have a copy of the picture of when you three were back in Taylor and taken. Nowadays, I think it was 2007 or 2008. We took that picture
Oh.
Oh, okay.
when we
Yeah.
were up there.
Yeah. I mean, we might actually have that photo.
Oh, well, that's
It
not
looks
a very
familiar.
good one because it was on, it was on like a historical bulletin. And the paper was kind of bumpy, but I liked it so much that I just got it kind of blown up. But if you see it close up, see it's not a very
It's
good.
blurry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not a very good copy of it because, like I said, it was on bumpy paper. But I thought it was such a
Uh-huh.
good photo
Oh,
that I
right.
just.
Yeah, you can see the pixelation.
Yeah, it's better far away, really.
Yeah.
But,
Well,
I
but
think
it'd be
we
nice
might
to have a better picture of it,
Yeah.
really.
Let's see if we do.
That's all the better picture I
Tell him
got.
who it is. 'cause
Yeah, she
Dode's
knows
in
that's
that.
Dode and Paul and my mom in
Yeah.
that picture.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that was Dode.
Yeah, that's Dode and Paul and my mom in the picture, yeah. When they went. And then JT went that year too, and then he had a magazine. It was called Living on the Cedar.
Life on the Cedar.
Life on the Cedar, and he wrote a article about it. He went on this tour too with Paul's daughter Karen.
Oh,
He's
okay.
been friends with Karen for a long time, and wrote an article about it in his magazine that he had.
Yeah, I might have that
Oh.
picture in my magazine. I can't remember. I should have looked that copy up. I can't remember which issue it was in.
Well, that sounds interesting. Sounds like you did some research for that.
Yeah, so I went up through on the tour and took pictures and listened to Paul, and he told the story. And there were a couple other guys there, people there, and Evelyn was talking about her memories of it, and so I took notes and did an article on it at the time for the
Neat.
magazine.
And what was it in?
That was called Life on the Cedar magazine.
Oh, that
It
was
a-
the name of the.
It was a magazine that I published for a couple of years. here
Oh,
and there.
neat. Oh, that's so cool.
I should look one of
A
those up.
lot
I'll
of
try to look one up and get you a copy.
that'd be cool. I mean,
There might be some. I know there are pictures in there that I took from up there at the time. That was in 2000. I think it was in spring of 2008,
Mm.
if I remember right.
Mm.
so many great stories on the Cedar going back through time.
Yeah,
It's
oh, I had
fascinating.
lots of history and just nostalgic things to write about in this
Mhm.
area.
Yeah, and it's the people's stories that really bring it to life. So that
Yeah.
we can envision, like, you look at this forest, it's so hard to picture the people
Yeah.
running on a sidewalk and getting
Mhm.
spanked.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that happened to you.
Yeah.
So I'm just making a note to send you Paul's letter
Yeah,
with his
that'd be
memories,
nice.
and also look for a copy of that photograph. Because we just might have it. which would be nice to have, you know, a clearer
Yeah, it
photo
would
for
have
you.
been nice, but that's all the
I
picture.
think Karen took that photo. She might still have the original.
If she could find it.
Well, yeah, well, she's kind of organized.
We'd see. Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, well, for some reason I thought that maybe we had taken it and that we'd have it in our collection, but who knows? Maybe she sent it to us as well.
Yeah, I don't know. It was just in that little bulletin.
Uh-huh. Yeah, Maple Valley has some great, the Historical Society
Yeah.
seems to have a really nice presence to look back at all the good stories from around here. Well, I'm going to turn off the recorder, so don't say anything really great, because then it won't be recorded.